Have you ever felt drained? Not because you worked too hard physically, but because of the invisible burdens in your mind. In today's chaotic world, endless emails, overwhelming deadlines, constant phone notifications, and the subtle pressure of social media, we are rarely taught how to rest our minds. Even when the body is still, the mind keeps running, carrying expectations, worries, and fears that weigh us down. Buddhism, with over 2,500 years of wisdom, offers timeless tools to return us to balance. Not abstract theories locked away in monasteries, but simple practices that can be lived right here in modern life. Imagine being able to sit quietly at your desk, take a breath, and suddenly feel a wave of calmness wash over you. Imagine going through your daily struggles, traffic jams, workplace stress, family challenges, and still carrying an inner stillness that cannot be shaken. In this video, we'll explore 5 Buddhist ways to reclaim peace in the middle of the storm. Each one is practical. Each one is rooted in authentic teachings. And each one comes with a small exercise you can begin today. So, take a deep breath with me. Inhale. Exhale. This is not just a YouTube video. This is an invitation to slow down, to reflect, and to reconnect with your true self. Welcome to your journey back home. 1. Letting go of the burden of expectations. The Buddha once said in the Dhammapada, "Clinging to what is not real leads to suffering." When we think about suffering in our modern world, we often imagine physical hardship or financial struggle. But if we look closer, a huge part of our daily suffering comes from something far less visible: our expectations. Expectations are like invisible weights. The idea that people must treat us fairly. The belief that life should always go according to plan. The silent demand that we should never fail, never make mistakes, never be misunderstood. These are the silent stones we pack into our backpack, one by one, every day. And then we wonder why life feels so heavy. Think of a hiker carrying a backpack filled with rocks. At first, 1 or 2 stones don't feel like much. A small expectation: my colleague should appreciate my effort. Another stone: my children must always behave the way I want. Another: my partner should know exactly how I feel without me saying anything. Each one seems small, but soon the bag grows unbearably heavy. The journey of life becomes exhausting, not because of the path itself, but because of what we carry. Now imagine pausing, opening that backpack, and taking 1 stone out. Let's call this stone, "I must be perfect." Place it gently on the ground. Feel your shoulders lighten. Suddenly, you can breathe a little easier. You still have challenges to face, but you're not crushed beneath the invisible weight of needing to live up to an impossible standard. This is the heart of letting go of expectations. It's not about abandoning responsibility. It's about recognizing what belongs to you and what never did. Let's bring this closer to real life. Sarah, a woman working in New York City, used to wake up every day with her mind already racing. She thought, "Today I have to impress my boss. I have to make sure my co-workers like me. I have to keep up with my friends on social media. And I have to show my family that I'm doing well." By the time she poured her morning coffee, she was already exhausted. Sarah carried a backpack full of stones. The stone of wanting praise. The stone of fearing rejection. The stone of trying to control how people saw her. None of these were tangible, but all of them weighed her down. One day, during a mindfulness workshop, the teacher asked the group to write down 1 expectation they wanted to let go of. Sarah hesitated, then wrote, "I expect my boss to always acknowledge my hard work." She looked at the paper, and for the first time realized how much energy she was spending on something she could not control. That night, she visualized herself placing that stone on the ground. The next day, she still worked hard, but with a lighter spirit. And ironically, her work began to shine more, not because she was desperate for approval, but because she was free. This practice is simple, yet profound. Each day, choose one expectation to release. Write it down. It might be, my partner must never get angry. Or, my children must always succeed. Or, life should always reward me if I do the right thing. Then, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine placing that expectation down. Feel the lightness in your body. Notice how much space opens up in your mind. Modern psychology echoes this ancient wisdom. Studies show that rigid expectations often lead to anxiety, depression, and burnout. Why? Because the world does not bend itself to our inner scripts. When reality clashes with expectation, it's not reality that breaks, it's us. But Buddhism offers another path. By loosening our grip, we discover freedom. By releasing the stones, the journey becomes lighter. By letting go of expectations, we step into peace. So pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what stone are you carrying right now? Is it the expectation that you must never fail? That people must always treat you fairly? That life should reward your effort in exact proportion to your struggle? Take one of these stones and imagine setting it down. Feel the release. Feel the breath returning to your chest. This is not just imagination, it is training your mind to let go. And with practice, it becomes your new way of living. Letting go does not mean we stop caring. It means we stop demanding that life must unfold according to our script. When we release this demand, we open space for gratitude, for curiosity, and for authentic connection. Think of it this way. When you drop a stone from your hand, what happens? Your palm is free to hold something else. In the same way, when you drop an expectation, your heart becomes free to hold peace. Sarah once said after her practice, "When I stopped expecting others to validate me, I discovered my own strength." This is the gift waiting for each of us. So here is your reflection for today. Choose one expectation that has been weighing on you. Write it down. Then, close your eyes, take a breath, and say quietly, "I release this. I choose freedom over burden." The path of Buddhism is not about perfection. It is about release. And every time you let go of one stone, your journey becomes lighter. 2. Mindfulness, the power of the present. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "The present moment is the only treasure you truly own." It sounds simple, almost too simple, and yet most of us rarely live in this treasure. We wake up thinking about the tasks ahead. We brush our teeth while replaying yesterday's mistakes. We drive to work while rehearsing imaginary conversations. Our bodies are in one place, but our minds are somewhere else entirely. Mindfulness is the practice of coming home to this breath, coming home to this step, coming home to the only moment we ever really have now. Imagine your mind as a vast, open sky. Thoughts, emotions, and worries are clouds passing across it. Sometimes the clouds are light and fluffy. Sometimes they are dark and heavy. But no matter how many clouds appear, the sky itself remains untouched, vast, and clear. You are that sky. Your worries are not you, they are passing clouds. Science confirms what Buddhism has taught for centuries. A Harvard study in 2020 showed that practicing mindfulness reduced stress by up to 40% in just 8 weeks. Imagine that, Nearly half of your stress gone, not through medication or escape, but through the simple act of paying attention to the present moment. So how do you begin? Here is a simple 1-minute practice, even if you think you have no time. Sit comfortably. Take a slow breath in. Feel the air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs. Then breathe out slowly, noticing the release. When a thought arises, and it will gently say to yourself, "This is just a thought, not me." Then return to your breath. 1 minute. That's all it takes to begin changing the pattern of your mind. And 1 minute can be found anywhere in your car before work, at your desk between emails, even in the restroom if you need a pause. Let me share a story. David, a software engineer in Silicon Valley, used to live in constant stress. Deadlines piled up. His phone buzzed endlessly. He felt like life was dragging him faster than he could run. One day, he attended a short workshop on mindfulness. The teacher asked the group to close their eyes and focus on their breath for 60 seconds. At first, David resisted. His mind screamed, "This is a waste of time. I have emails to answer." But as he continued, something shifted. His shoulders softened. His breath slowed. For the first time in years, he felt space inside. That 1 minute gave him a glimpse of peace he had forgotten was possible. David began practicing 1 minute every day. Over time, 1 minute became 5. 5 became 10. And soon, mindfulness was no longer just something he did, it was how he lived. He noticed when stress was rising and could step back before reacting. He became more patient with his children, more focused at work, more present with his wife. His life didn't suddenly become easy, but it became steadier because he had discovered the power of the present. Mindfulness does not remove life's storms. The emails still come. The deadlines still exist. Loved ones still get upset. But mindfulness changes the way you hold the storm. Instead of being blown away by every gust of wind, you become like a mountain, solid, steady, unmoved. So here is your invitation. Right now, take a slow breath. Inhale. Exhale. Notice how even this small act shifts something inside. A little more calm. A little more clarity. For the next 24 hours, try this. Once a day, pause for just 1 minute of mindfulness. Then notice how your day feels different. Share your experience in the comments, because your insight might inspire someone else to take their first mindful breath. Mindfulness is not about escaping from life. It is about waking up to it. When you eat, notice the taste of each bite instead of scrolling through your phone. When you walk, feel the ground beneath your feet instead of rushing to the next task. When you speak with someone you love, truly listen instead of planning your reply. These small acts turn ordinary moments into sacred ones. A famous Zen saying reminds us, "When walking, walk. When eating, eat." Simple, yet profound. And here is the deeper truth. Mindfulness is not something you force. It is something you remember. Peace was never lost. It was always here, waiting in the present moment. So ask yourself now, are you truly here, listening, breathing, alive? Or are you lost in yesterday and tomorrow? Return to now. This breath, this heartbeat, this is your life. And the more you live here, the more freedom you will find. 3. Acceptance, the way out of resistance. The Buddha taught, whatever has the nature to arise has the nature to cease. This teaching is a reminder of impermanence. Everything that begins will end. Every sunrise fades into night. Every spring blossoms into summer and eventually withers into winter. Every joy, every sorrow, every relationship, every job, none of it is permanent. And yet, most of our suffering comes not from change itself, but from resisting change. We cling to what we love, demanding it never leave us. We push away what we fear, insisting it has no right to appear. But the truth is, life moves with or without our permission. And when we resist reality, we suffer twice, once from the event itself, and once from our refusal to accept it. Imagine standing in the middle of a river. The current pulls at you, strong and relentless. If you fight the water, thrashing and resisting, you exhaust yourself. But if you allow yourself to float, the river carries you effortlessly forward. Life is this river. Resistance is thrashing. Acceptance is floating. Now, acceptance is often misunderstood. People think it means giving up. But acceptance is not surrendering to despair. It is not saying, "This is fine," when it's not. Acceptance is simply acknowledging what is real, without layering it with denial or resentment. From that place of truth, real change and healing can begin. Let's make this practical. John, a father from California, lost his job during the pandemic. At first, he was crushed. He replayed the moment of being laid off again and again. He cursed the economy, blamed his boss, and drowned in anger. Every morning he woke up hoping it had been a bad dream. But the reality was still there. He was unemployed. For weeks, John resisted. He clung to the life he once had, demanding it return. And the more he resisted, the more powerless he felt. Finally, one evening, sitting with his daughter, he realized something. His daughter was laughing at a cartoon, carefree and joyful. In that moment he thought, "My resistance is robbing me of the life that is still here." He whispered to himself, "This is reality. I cannot change the past, but I can choose how I meet the present." That small shift changed everything. He updated his resume. He applied for jobs, not with desperation, but with acceptance. Weeks later, he found new work. It wasn't the same job, but it brought fresh opportunities and unexpected growth. Later, John said, "When I stopped fighting reality, I discovered a strength I didn't know I had." This is the gift of acceptance. It doesn't erase loss. It doesn't remove pain, but it transforms suffering into wisdom. Because suffering isn't caused by what happens to us. It's caused by our refusal to let life be what it island. Try this practice. When something difficult arises, pause. Place your hand on your heart. Say quietly, "This is reality, and I choose peace." Breathe. Let the words sink in. Notice how your body softens when you stop resisting. Psychologists call this radical acceptance. Studies show that people who practice acceptance recover from setbacks faster, experience less anxiety, and maintain better relationships. Why? Because they stop wasting energy fighting what cannot be changed, and instead direct their energy toward what can be. So, what are you resisting today? A relationship that has ended? A body that is aging? A career path that shifted unexpectedly? Look closely, and you'll see. The resistance itself is heavier than the reality. Acceptance does not mean you approve of everything that happens. It means you stop living in denial. It means you say, "Yes, this is happening. Now, what can I do with it?" And from that place of clarity, action becomes possible. Think about the weather. When it rains, you cannot stop the clouds. But you can choose to carry an umbrella or to dance in the rain. Acceptance is like that. It doesn't control the storm, but it changes how you walk through it. The Buddha compared life to a lotus. A lotus grows from the mud, yet rises clean and beautiful above the water. In the same way, your suffering can become the soil for wisdom if you stop resisting the mud and allow the flower to bloom. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself gently, what am I fighting against? Then, take a breath and say, I accept this moment. I choose peace. The path of acceptance is not easy. But each time you practice, you discover that peace is not at the end of the struggle. Peace begins the moment you stop struggling. 4. Mastering attention, the treasure of the mind. The Buddha once said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." These words remind us of an incredible truth. Attention is the most precious treasure we have. Wherever your attention goes, your life flows. But in today's world, attention is constantly under attack. Every ping, every notification, every headline is designed to steal it. Social media platforms are built to keep you scrolling. News outlets compete for your outrage. Advertisers fight for your eyeballs. And with every stolen moment, your peace slips away. Think about how often you reach for your phone without even realizing it. At the dinner table, in the middle of a conversation, even while waiting at a red light. Every time you surrender attention to a screen, you're giving away the most valuable resource you own, your presence. Let's pause and reflect. When was the last time you gave someone your undivided attention? Truly listened, without glancing at your phone, without thinking of what to say next. That kind of attention is rare today. And yet, it is the very foundation of love, connection, and peace. Buddhism teaches us that training the mind is like training a wild elephant. At first, the elephant runs everywhere, uncontrolled. But with gentle persistence, it learns to stay steady. Your attention is that elephant. At first, it runs toward every distraction. But with practice, you can train it to rest where you choose. Consider Mark, a college student in Chicago. He spent hours each day scrolling through TikTok and Instagram. He didn't mean to, but somehow a quick glance turned into an hour, sometimes two. His grades dropped. His sleep suffered. And his anxiety skyrocketed. One day, he decided to try a digital detox challenge. For 24 hours, he turned off notifications, deleted the most distracting apps, and left his phone in another room. The first few hours were unbearable. He kept reaching for the phone that wasn't there. He felt restless, uneasy. But then something changed. He noticed the taste of his breakfast. He heard birds outside his window. He studied for 3 hours straight without interruption. That evening, he felt a calm he hadn't experienced in years. This is the power of reclaiming attention. When you control your attention, you control your life. Here's a practice you can try. For one day, turn off all notifications. Every single one. Unfollow accounts that make you feel anxious or angry. Choose one meaningful activity to give your full attention to, maybe cooking dinner with your family, walking in nature, or reading a book. Notice how your mind feels at the end of the day. Science supports this too. A Stanford study found that multitasking reduces efficiency by up to 30%. When your attention is scattered, you achieve less, remember less, and enjoy less. But when you focus deeply on one thing, both performance and satisfaction rise dramatically. Think of attention as sunlight. If sunlight is scattered, it warms but weakly. But if sunlight is focused through a magnifying glass, it can set a fire. In the same way, when your attention is scattered, your energy is diluted. But when your attention is focused, it becomes powerful enough to transform your life. So I ask you, where are you spending your attention today? Are you giving it away to endless feeds and empty noise? Or are you investing it in relationships, creativity, and inner peace? Remember, your attention is your life. Guard it like treasure. Direct it with intention, and you will discover that peace was never lost. It was only waiting for you to notice. Attention is like a garden. Whatever you water will grow. If you water weeds, fear, gossip, comparison, they will spread and take over. But if you water flowers, gratitude, compassion, mindfulness, they will flourish and fill your life with beauty. Every choice of where you place your attention is a choice of what kind of garden you live in. The Buddha once said, "What you dwell upon, you become." If you dwell upon anger, you become anger. If you dwell upon kindness, you become kindness. This is not poetry, it is psychology, both ancient and modern. So, here is your invitation. For the next 24 hours, choose one moment of focused attention. Put down your phone. Look into the eyes of someone you love. Listen fully, without distraction. Notice how sacred that moment feels. Master your attention, and you master your mind. Master your mind, and you master your life. 5. Living simply. The power of focus. The Buddha once said, "Better than 1,000 meaningless words is a single word that brings peace." In a world filled with noise, distraction, and endless demands, simplicity is not weakness, it is strength. To live simply is to live deeply. But what does simplicity mean in modern life? It doesn't mean abandoning your responsibilities or living in a cave. It means choosing what truly matters and letting go of what doesn't. It means cutting through the clutter, mental, emotional, and physical, to focus your precious energy on what nourishes your soul. Think of your day like a table filled with dishes. If you pile the table with too many plates, none of them can be enjoyed fully. But if you choose 3 meaningful dishes, you savor each one. In the same way, when your day is filled with too many tasks, your mind is scattered and restless. But when you simplify, you gain clarity, energy, and peace. Modern science supports this. A Stanford study found that reducing multitasking increases efficiency by 30%. Think about that. By doing less, you actually achieve more. Why? Because your mind is no longer torn in 1,000 directions. You give your best to what matters most. Here is a practice. Each morning, write down 3 things that matter most for that day. Not 30, not 10, just 3. Maybe it's calling your mother. Maybe it's finishing one important project at work. Maybe it's taking a walk with your child. Do those 3 with your full heart and let the rest fall away. At night, you'll sleep in peace, not because you did everything, but because you did what mattered. Consider Emily, a nurse in Texas. Her days were overwhelming: patients to care for, children at home, bills to pay. She tried to do everything, but ended up exhausted and burnt out. Then she tried this practice, choosing 3 priorities each day. Some days, her 3 were simple. 1. Care for my patients with kindness. 2. Spend quality time with my kids. 3. Rest when I get home. To her surprise, she felt more fulfilled and less anxious. By living simply, she regained her strength. Living simply also means simplifying your possessions. How many clothes hang in your closet that you never wear? How many gadgets sit unused in your home? Each item takes not just space, but mental energy. The Buddha lived with only a robe and a bowl, teaching that freedom comes not from owning more, but from needing less. Of course, you don't need to give everything away, but ask yourself, do I own my things, or do my things own me? Living simply means simplifying your mind, too. How many thoughts swirl in your head each day? Worries about tomorrow, regrets about yesterday, endless comparisons with others. Each thought is like noise. Silence comes when you let go. Meditation is the art of simplifying the mind, returning again and again to the breath, the present, the simple truth that this moment is enough. So how can you begin? Try this. Tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, what 3 things truly matter to me tomorrow? Write them down. In the morning, focus only on them. Throughout the day, when distractions come, remind yourself, I have chosen simplicity. Notice how your energy sharpens, how your mind calms, how your heart feels lighter. Living simply is not about having less, it is about being more present, more grateful, more alive. Think of simplicity as clearing a path. When a trail is cluttered with branches and stones, walking is slow and tiring. But when the path is clear, every step feels lighter. Simplicity clears the path of your life, so your energy can flow freely toward what matters. The Buddha reminded us that craving and clinging create endless suffering. By simplifying, we loosen the grip of craving. We discover that joy does not come from adding more, but from needing less. So here is your challenge. Tomorrow, choose 3 things that matter most. Do them with full presence. At the end of the day, ask yourself, was my life richer because I focused on what matters? Simplicity is not the absence of richness, it is the doorway to it. When you live simply, you live fully. Peace is not a distant destination. It is a way of walking, step by step, through the life you already have. Today, we explored 5 Buddhist practices that can bring you back to stillness in the middle of chaos. First, letting go of expectations, releasing the heavy stones that weigh down your heart. Second, mindfulness, returning again and again to the power of this present moment. Third, acceptance, choosing peace instead of resistance, even in the face of change. Fourth, mastering attention, guarding your focus as the treasure it truly island. And fifth, living simply, choosing what matters and letting go of what does not. Each of these is not just an idea. Each is a practice you can begin today. Write down one expectation and release it. Pause for one mindful breath. Whisper to yourself, I accept this moment. Turn off your notifications for one day. Choose 3 priorities and give them your full heart. Small steps, but each one opens the door to a calmer, freer life. And now, I want to invite you to join me in this journey. Subscribe to this channel for more teachings rooted in mindfulness and Buddhist wisdom. Share in the comments which of the 5 practices speaks to you most. Was it letting go? Was it mindfulness? Or maybe the challenge of living more simply? Your reflection might inspire someone else. Finally, here's a challenge for you. For the next 7 days, practice 1 minute of meditation each day. Just 1 minute. At the end of the week, notice what has shifted. A calmer breath, a clearer mind, a lighter heart. Peace is not somewhere out there. It is right here, within you. And every mindful step you take brings you closer to the home you've been seeking all along. So take a deep breath. This is your moment of return.